Welcome into the Right Side. I am Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair and JP. We survived another election night. There are some shenanigans happening around the country. Is anyone surprised that it came out of Wisconsin? Big things happened in South Carolina. We can't wait to talk about that. And then it's Wednesday. Are you ready for Hot Flash News?
No, I wasn't even supposed to be here,
I know. And I even had written down that I was going to gather some stories. So today we have the usual. We have the word of the day. We have Yammer. We have the montage. But we also, because it's What the Hell County Wednesday, are going to have Bobby Holditch from Phoenix Nutrition and Fitness, who's basically our trainer and who looks at what we eat every day, come on late in the show today to talk a little bit about GLP-1s and then whatever else we decide to ask him about, because basically Bobby is an open book, which is why we love him. Yes, sir.
I have the perfect clip. Okay, if y'all want to. I have the perfect clip for Bobby to react to.
Oh, yes.
Did y'all see the clip yesterday of Oprah on The View? She goes, you don't overeat, or how did she phrase it? It was like,
no,
you don't overeat because you're obese. Obesity causes you to overeat. I think that's what she said. She goes, because people have the obesity gene and causes more food noise. So obesity, if you're just obese, you were just born obese. That's what causes you to overeat. You don't overeat to become obese. I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Let's let Bobby react.
But anyways, I just saw that yesterday. It was going to be in Clown World Friday, but
I think you should put it in Clown World on Friday again. But we need Bobby to react to that because anyway, I'm going to leave that where it is. And we'll have that discussion. So look forward to that. How is everybody this morning? Yeah.
No, actually, I'm great. I apologize if I messed things up. I was supposed to go help Jennings pack up and rearrange and get ready for her school year, but Princess is still sleeping and we had a meeting. So I just popped in and said, surprise, but I might not be here next segment.
Yeah, we don't know.
That's what we do as moms. You're just on your schedule of your child and you show up when they say, hey mom, I need you. Right.
That's exactly what you do, which is what I'm doing tomorrow with Molly, moving her into her apartment. I'm not sure how that's going to happen. Although my blessed nephew helped get some pledges together. Still, it's what we do. We show up.
And then sometimes we are not needed and not wanted to show up. And so we don't.
I'm thinking of things right now that I go, okay, yes, exactly.
JP, y'all are very complicated.
I don't think I'm complicated.
You're not a girl too.
Well,
it's different.
In different ways. How about men and women are different, equally as complicated? One's more straightforward. One, you got to pay attention.
Dig a little?
Yeah.
Well, so if I get up, it means I'm being summoned. I got to go be a mom.
Okay. All right. But we're glad you're here. So you guys, what did you think about the election last night? Were you surprised by the results? I have a number I want you to respond to that you probably already saw. I'm clicking over. I'm going to the Twitters. And I want you to tell me about this. Oh, and we're going to talk basically today, laying out the issue, and then tomorrow or Friday, talking to the person at the center of the issue. But let's talk elections real quick. And let's talk about South Carolina because Adam Morgan put this number out, and I thought this is interesting. Darlene Graham, remember, Lindsey Graham's sister who dropped her last name. Okay, I'm just going to let that sit there. And Ralph Norman are in a runoff. But what's interesting is not that Darlene Graham won the runoff if you're going by numbers. Actually, that's not true because 67% of South Carolina Republicans voted against Darlene Graham. She only got 32.7% of the vote. What do you think about that? And what does this mean for Ralph Norman?
First of all, I could not be more excited about Ralph Norman's win and making it into the runoff. I know he is such a good congressman, and he takes a lot of heat because yes, he's older. Yes, he is. And I like him for it because I think we need less legislation in so many ways. He doesn't co-sponsor and write all these bills. I mean, honestly, we need less government. And so he is one that stands in the gap that says, wait, this funding for refugee welfare, we're just not going to do it. He writes those kind of amendments. People come at him for that. And I'm like, we need more of that, not more yes men. Ralph Norman has a 92% Liberty score. He votes right. Now, he and the president, he doesn't kiss President Trump's butt, which is refreshing to me. I don't know him to ever have voted against the president, though. He's very Tim Burchett-esque. Tim Burchett is a independent thinker, but he gets the president's vision. Tim Burchett is not a member of the Freedom Caucus, but he votes with it. He just likes to be independent. Ralph Norman would make an amazing senator. I look and go, my goodness, last night I was texting with some people and they're like, but he's so old. And I'm like, he's younger than Donald Trump. And Darlene, her name is Darlene. She's not young. She's maybe a few years younger than him.
I love how you said her name being Darlene is how you know she's old.
I mean, have you heard of babies being named Darlene in a while?
I just found that funny.
It's kind of like we all know if you're named Amy, you're from the 70s. It's like, tell me without telling me. And that's an excellent point. And can we sit here for a second? Because we used to have respect for people who were the sages of our communities. We used to listen to people that had life experience to go, that's idiotic. We're not going to do that. But now we think we're in love with the young and everything that's new and fresh, rather than going, maybe we should ask the person who's lived through some things. Maybe we should rely on that kind of vision, somebody who doesn't have their hand out or glad handing everybody to get what they can. Maybe we should stick with the people like Ralph Norman and Tim Burchett who know some things because life has beat it into them or beat it out of them. And so when did we stop hating that? I think that's part of the reason why we're in trouble right now is we don't listen to people who have experience. So I'm for it. So if somebody says they're too old, I'm like, then I'm voting for them. Would vote for Ralph Norman if we still lived in South Carolina over Darlene Graham.
I get the age. The age just got, you look at Biden, you look at Mitch McConnell. It is a discussion to be had, but specifically for the Senate seat, we need somebody that will vote right and get us through the next 6 years. Ralph Norman will serve a 6-year term, and then he will disappear and go be the greatest granddaddy ever with all of his grandkids and go be a normal citizen. He can't, and he doesn't want to be there forever. So when you're looking between Darlene Graham, what does she really believe? That's my thing. And so until 2028, she will be beholden to President Trump. You can guarantee until 2028, she will vote with the president. Once he's gone, what do you think Darlene Graham is going to do? She'll basically be kind of free. And nobody really knows what she stands for. I think she's probably, let's just assume she's a lovely person. But my gosh, I'm like, my own family, just because we're blood and we have the same last name, they would make the worst replacement for me on this show. My dad is a flaming liberal from California. No, not going to work. Same last name. I have a child that is very liberal. Yeah, not going to get the same content. So this whole voting on the last name, I get the sentimentality, but it's a disaster. And it's not the way you should vote.
No, it's absolutely not the way you should. This is going to be interesting. At least Ralph Norman has high name ID, but you're very right. We don't know anything about Darlene. Nothing. We don't know about her principles. We don't. And that's something that should concern everybody. But we'll see how many weeks. This is going to be
it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks away.
Yes. And I think if Ralph Norman can, it's a conversation we had with someone in South Carolina yesterday. The people that are voting for Darlene are the we love Lindsey Graham people and the whoever President Trump says is who we're going to vote for. Based on the election last night, that's 32% of South Carolina. Everybody else is kind of an independent thinker. If Ralph Norman can capture those voters that voted, like you said, against Darlene, he wins this hands down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious if President Trump will come out with a dual endorsement.
Because
Ralph was within 7-8 percentage points of her. I mean, there's a chance. And Trump does not like losing.
No, he does not. You can say a lot of things about him, but losing is not one of the words you could.
I think he would be wise to come out and endorse. He did say yesterday at some point, he said he liked both candidates.
Okay. You know what? We can work with that.
Do we know turnout? I'm trying to find it for South Carolina. They don't have it on their Secretary of State.
I wonder if it was similar across the board. But no, I haven't seen anything on South Carolina turnout, just numbers. But I can't compare numbers to population because that wasn't in the information that I saw. So
let me ask ChatGPT.
Sure. I was surprised. Well, I guess not surprised it went to a runoff. But I don't know. What was it, like 40% that Darlene Graham got? I think it was something like that.
32.7.
Yeah. Like I figured it'd be a lot more than that, to be honest with you. So if the turnout's low for a special election, can you imagine how low the turnout would be for a special election runoff? I don't know. Like Ralph Norman, it's not like Ralph Norman doesn't have name ID, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so the only name ID Darlene has is her last name. So it could be very interesting. But at the very least, whatever you think about the issue, at least you know everything about what Ralph Norman believes.
Mm-hmm.
You only know maybe one or two. The only things I've seen from Darlene Graham is that she's in support of the Save America Act, and if she has to, or we have to nuke the filibuster to get that done, she's in support of that. That's it. So maybe who knows? Maybe she'll lay out more. Do we know? I'm sorry, you may have said this earlier. When the runoff is
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So that's not a lot of time to say everything you believe. So.
And look, we understand that life happens on a local level because each of us in our own communities impacts our community if we're doing the work. But the deal is right now, our margins are slim on a national level. Some states are very slim on a state level. But we've said this before, we'll say it again. Doug Jones is why we have Obamacare. So we need to care about the races around the country. It matters. It does affect our lives. Think about how many times you've cursed Obamacare. Think how many times you've thought this is not what it was cracked up to be. Doug Jones did that, our guy. So that's why we're paying very close attention to what's going on in South Carolina and in other places. Considering Wisconsin, Francesca Hong lost.
Barely
in a random late night ballot drop. That's not suspicious at all.
I think it was 2 a.m.
That's their favorite time to act, isn't it?
It's the witching hour.
Were there suitcases?
Yeah, suitcases, leaks, windows covered up.
Yeah. God, that was good times.
Kick people out. Yeah, that's kind of, no. But that's very random. She was shocked because she thought, oh, I'm going to win. This is no big deal. But she lost.
That was an upset. Polling really thought she was going to win.
You know, isn't it fun? Just for 1 second, I thought, wow, now she knows what it's like as to why we're upset and why we're looking into voter integrity. Because when it's done against you, you're like, maybe I should care a little bit more about ballot security.
Yeah.
Maybe. But who knows? I'm not sure she cares about much of anything. I can't tell. She's a blank slate. She's whatever her handlers need her to be.
By the way, real quick, do we want to talk about the Alabama special election last night?
Yes.
The main discussion is the turnout because we'd had predictions. I think I said 4. I think y'all were around this in the same ballpark.
I said 3.
I said 3.
So 5.24%.
That's what my friends at my polling place said, was that it was 5%.
We didn't make predictions, but all of the winners, Jerry Carl, Rep Marcus, Amy Atkin won. Aiken, excuse me.
Amy Aiken.
Well, name ID. She already won. She got a general too. Sorry. They all won. I'm trying to think of if there's anybody. Oh, Gary Palmer won. So
can you scroll down?
Yeah.
I want to see the Gary Palmer
It was
district
like
numbers.
15%.
Wait.
So go slower.
Right there.
Okay.
Thank you. 13%. Okay.
So
Hey,
we didn't.
Stixon did better than I thought he would.
We didn't make predictions, but that's all the winners were who I would have predicted to win. But again, I think the main discussion is how do we get that up?
Cost $4.45 million to run the election yesterday, and 5% of Alabamians registered to vote voted.
I mean, there was 104 different districts, 113,000 people voted. And I texted Lily, actually, who lives in Birmingham, and it was past the time she could have even voted. I was like, by the way, do you know there was a special election today? And she was like, I heard about it. I had no idea what we were voting on. And I was like, and she's above a casual engaged, person. So
this is what I don't. Okay. By the way, South Carolina had 11% turnout.
Oh, that's much better than ours.
I don't think it will be that high in 2 weeks, which actually bodes well for Ralph Norman. His district came out strong. The people in his district like him. Everybody else came out and kind of supported their people, like Russell Fry's district, but they're going to be gone. And I just don't see that many crossing over to Darlene. Oh, shoot. I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about before that? 11%, 5% voting, Birmingham.
People not being engaged to.
Oh, that's it. Why in the world is the Republican Party or the Secretary of State's office, who has millions of dollars, that is tasked with bringing awareness to elections? Why are we not renting billboards all across the big cities? Down 280, down the Red Mountain Expressway. Like, why are we not renting? Billboards seem old, but they're some of the most effective ways. Congressional special election, get out and vote. Doesn't have to be partisan if you're the Republican Party, fine. But why are we not putting money behind that? And is that a strategy? Do y'all think they didn't want people to know?
Perhaps, because when you were describing that, that's my immediate thought was, we do what we want when we want to do it. And if we don't want to do something, we don't do it. So I think it could have been a strategy. Just let's get this over with. Let's get our people in, and then we're going to go gangbusters heading into November. But I do think it was a strategy. There's no reason why there wouldn't have been big billboards. I know digital is the rage, but do you know how many people who actually vote, that'd be the old people, still don't love online digital stuff and still love the billboards? So I don't know the answer, but my gut instinct is maybe it was a strategy.
Well, Rep Kenneth Pascal on the comments just said billboards, thumbs up.
Oh,
hi, Kenneth.
Look at him. I just think it's a no-brainer. I mean, we have to do something. Think about it. Would you take, let's say, $50 out of your pocket? Every single taxpayer, every single voter, registered voter, you have to take $50 out of your pocket to run these elections. That's some people's lunch money for the week. And that's what we're doing. $4.4 million for 5% out of. The government has no money except what we as taxpayers and citizens give it. What are we doing?
And on top of the fact, do you think about the redistricting fight and all of the 7-0, 6-1, but even the fact, I mean, went all the way to the Supreme Court. This is a once in a lifetime sort of opportunity to get conservatives back. And then when, again, this is just the primary, but then it's just like the actual voters, they don't even care. And again, it's not they shouldn't care, it's they should care. So I don't know. I don't know how we bridge that gap. But if you boil down so many of our issues, it comes down to the voters not being engaged. Because the only way a republic actually works is if the common person votes and gets engaged. Because if it doesn't, then special interests and all they fled. They filled that void. But I I don't know. I just remember thinking last night, I thought back to, because this is all the redrawn maps about the fight and how big of a deal it was in our world and the political world. And then when it comes to the test of the actual people voting, they could care less. And it's deflating.
It's not different than when UAB lost their football team. Then people rallied. We got the football team back. They did. And then nobody still goes to the games. Mm-hmm. Like, we're just doing things that look good. And then in the end, we have no follow through. It's a culture-wide issue. It's apathy, which is one of the things that happens. Apathy and tolerance, is one of the great Greek philosophers said, are the last remaining items that happen before a culture falls. You become apathetic and you're tolerant of anything. And so we are quite apathetic, even in a we say we're red, we're purple, in a state like Alabama. We're very apathetic and we're tolerant of everything. We don't stand for anything anymore, and we don't connect the dots as to why it's important to get out and vote. So there's a lot of work to do, but if we could bridge the gap, man, we'd be ready to go.
As you're talking, I'm laughing, thinking about, okay, we're going to dinner tonight. Jared has some customers coming in and some other people are going to join us at dinner. If I just brought up the Calais decision, think anybody would have any clue? And like, that was such a big part of our world for weeks. Okay, and then let's go. Let's just talk about, the redrawn districts, redistricting that happened this year. Think anybody has any clue?
No.
Like your average, I don't know if you have to understand Calais, but in 2026, if you don't understand what is happening with your representation in Washington, D.C., we got issues. Mm-hmm. And somebody's not doing something right. Maybe it's us.
I don't know. That is the code to crack, is how we get people to, because again, we can talk partisan policies all you want, but if you can't get the actual common people to go out and vote, then what does it even matter? Then we're just in an echo chamber of the politicos. Again, that's how the Republic does it.
And the politicos aren't doing jack squat for us. I'm sorry, but they're not. Some of them are trying, but we have to connect the dots and help people understand that it is their responsibility, because no one's coming to save us, no matter how beautiful the words are and the thoughts and the sentiments. Like, we're going to have to be the ones to do this. And I don't know how, but we're going to figure it out. We have to. We don't have an option.
JP, are we going to go to our normal break?
No, I posted to 10:30.
Okay.
I don't know if we want to do word of the day or just keep going on this thread.
I just want to challenge us as I'm sitting here and Kenneth Pascal's listening, and I was thinking we get really frustrated with our elected officials because they seem to live up here and not be in touch with actually what's happening down here. And I want to challenge us to not do the same. Like somebody just said echo chamber. We have to be really careful not to do that, not to assume everybody knows.
Yeah.
So that's our challenge too. We got to hold ourselves to that. But I don't know what else to do besides like flashing, blinking lights and sirens. Like maybe some of our listeners can typing cat in and be like, hey, this would really get out the message. I don't know. I'm at a loss.
Well, we got a couple of comments.
Oh, good.
Not solutions, but just their input from yesterday. Carl Crocker on the Facebook. He said, not only did local politicians tell people in Perry County they couldn't vote yesterday, they did it from official government social media and on radio networks. Insanity.
What? So Perry County
has issues.
They've got big issues. Okay. What district is that? 7?
No idea.
I don't know, but Carl Crocker, you're going to have to text us and give us more. What do you mean they're saying you can't vote?
I mean, were they not in one of the districts that was redrawn and
Perry
voted?
County is in the 7th district.
And yesterday was 1, 2, 6, and 7. Okay, we need to know more about this and who exactly put those kinds of things out. So send it to us because we need to get the word out. That's not okay by a stretch. Did my stomach just growl on the microphone?
You need a snack?
I need protein
a snack.
bars.
You need a snack.
I do have some protein bars and some yogurt.
In kindergarten.
Well, we can
Here we go.
We can do this comment and take a quick break and come back with our usual first segment stuff if you want. Mary Young on the Facebook said, "You're right.
Mary.
Voters are just not engaged. Apathy. I've heard several people say during the primary and then this election that they only vote in the general election in November. I heard some say they only vote in presidential elections."
Okay, well, we've got our work to do.
Mary.
Our civics work cut out for us.
Oh,
You're right,
especially
Mary.
in a state like Alabama, the primary is
it's the election.
Well, again, and if you look back at when Republicans overtook the state and stormed the state house, the Democrats who had controlled the state for decades, they got comfortable, they got fat and happy, and the Republicans are the ones that got engaged and then overthrew it. Well, look at the current state of it now. I'm not saying that that's happening. I'm just warning, warning.
Danger, danger, Will Robinson.
Like the office of warning. That's where we're at now. Because look at the turnout for the Democratic side.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh, and our bestie Tabitha Eisner
I was going to bring it
yesterday.
up, but I didn't know if you want to talk about it now.
Okay, we got 2 minutes, but yes. Can you pull up that?
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Makes me want, she can do it.
Yep.
There's nothing illegal about this.
Does she kind of remind you of Jessica Tarlov?
Yes.
Like they have the same kind of glasses and look. At first when I was like, oh no, Tabitha, not Jessica.
You just want
But
to.
she can do it. She can do it and she doesn't care. Where is our moxie like that? Why are we always so concerned about, well, they're going to say this and they're going to say that? Like, we're not. We weren't born with that gene. But
look, she got a little sass going on.
She said,
girl,
well, that was quick and
hey."
easy. I didn't even have to ask for a Republican ballot. They just handed it to me because it was the only one available.
Mm-hmm.
She's the former vice chair of the Democrat Party in Alabama.
So the question is, never mind. I'm going to ask that off the air. Okay. Interesting. Also, did they call you Tabby? What do they call you? Tab? Come on, man.
Chairman, vice chairman.
Where's our moxie?
She said, we make things so complicated. When I was like, I don't want to offend her and call her a chairman. And y'all make things so complicated. Okay, Z, Zim, Zer, her, we, they, it. They're redunculous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, listen, Jennings is awake, but I really want to get to Mr. Fenchurch and his eminent domain land and his fight with Alabama Power. He'll be in the studio tomorrow to do a long form interview about it, but we kind of want to preview it today. And then what else y'all want to do? Word of the day.
Word of the day, Yammer. And then we can, did you put Mr. Finn in the montage?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, Finn is in the montage?
So we'll roll through in the next block so that you can go do mom things. We'll roll through Yammer, we'll roll through Word of the Day and the montage because that's in it, and then jump immediately into Fenchurch. So we'll truncate our conversation so that we can get to him. This is a big deal. This is a really big deal.
This is on the level of flock camera kind of stuff. So we'll get to that. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Well. It turns out that those conspiracy theorists were right.
Again.
Huh. So we're just gonna wade into the waters. We know you already knew. But this is that time where you get to look at your friends and family in the face and say, remember when you said I was crazy? And that this was not a big deal? Whether it was in regards to Fauci and the COVID vaccine, and after that discussion, talking about the childhood vaccine schedule, because the whole thing is, do we have rights or not? Can we be compelled to do things that go against our conscience or not? And are parents in charge of their children or not? It's about personal sovereignty. And so the idea that Fauci knew that a COVID shot, a gene therapy injected into pregnant women didn't just have a low risk, but it had a significant mortality risk with it. And then they lied. Should be the thing that sends him to prison forever. Because how many babies died because of your lies? Our oldest daughter was pregnant with our first granddaughter during this whole conundrum. And every time she went to somebody that I like as a physician, every single time they tried to pressure her to get this gene therapy. Luckily, our children are not easily swayed. And my daughter was like, absolutely not. You can stop asking me. And so I feel for all the mothers who were pressured into getting it, or the mothers on the other side of that can't get pregnant now. Because see, this is the part we haven't gotten to. Not just the 82% miscarriage rate, but someday what will really come out are all the women who cannot get pregnant. They were made sterile because they loved their neighbors and got a shot. They obeyed the authorities. They were loving to their neighbor. And so a lot of people got a lot of repenting to do, but maybe this is the thing that will get Anthony Fauci. So before anything else, what are your thoughts on what came out?
Well, let's read the text
Okay.
first. I got to pull it up.
Okay.
This is dated January 25th, 2021 from Anthony Fauci in a text. I asked around a bit more, and another issue came up that you need to be aware of. Since many people have significant cytokines, storm, and fever after the second dose, this theoretically could be associated with miscarriage in the first trimester. This is after he publicly denied this as a conspiracy theory many times.
It makes me sick. It makes me sick. And there's no way you can tell me now that this whole depopulation conspiracy theory is just a conspiracy theory. They are trying to kill offspring. They are trying to kill elderly. They are trying to kill all of us. I don't know how else to say it. Why in the world would you send a text so nonchalantly like that and not be out on every single news media outlet, which he was already, and not screaming that from the top of your lungs, except that you are an evil, evil person that is the leader of the death cult? And it is beyond comprehension. 82% of people that got the second shot, the second booster of women that were pregnant, lost their children. And that little biscuit was allowed to plead the fifth and not have to answer to anyone as of yet. It's unimaginable. And yet here we are.
82% is an astounding number.
So I printed off the vaccine adverse effects registry, of which we believe that the underreporting rate is probably upwards of 50%. People don't even know that it's there.
Yep.
I have people in my life, and you probably do too, that you know that they had an adverse effect to vaccines, whether it's myocarditis, maybe you have weird stuff going on with your brain. Like there's the wide range of things going on that your people couldn't tell you, actually, you just had an adverse effect. The number of miscarriages listed on the VAERS system, 5,222 babies miscarried. Now, I don't know about you, but I had 3. And every single one of them is a tragedy. But to have your government compel you to take a shot that they knew was going to 82% of the time kill your child and act like it's no big deal. I don't have the words. Where are you? What? Hi. Welcome back. I'm Amy Beth. She's Allison. He's JP. We are the Right Side. So now we're going to roll through things a little quickly So gird your loins.
Loins
Prepare for battle.
girded.
I already want a sandwich today.
Oh, I just looked at the word. Oh, wait. Okay, that's what we're doing.
It's okay. It's okay.
'cause
You need to know the word because
Okay.
you're going to tell me what this word means.
Okay.
So, all right, everybody, get typing cat fingers ready. Here's the word.
That's
It's time
cheating.
for the word of the day.
Three, 2, 1.
I've got a good one. You're going to want to use this word. It's a word I don't know. Anywho, doesn't matter. Maybe you know this word, but today is a twist. Tell us what this word means. Gnomic. 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 It's an adjective. Gnomic.
Like a gnome?
You'd
It's an
think it would be
adjective.
like a gnome, but
Is
not
it
really.
like a nomadic? Is it like a pneumatic? Is it
It's not a pneumatic.
I would say gnomic is to be inquisitive, to be intuitive, and to be rather balderdash.
You just said all of the words, JP.
Oh, shoot. Don't do that, Sinclair. Wait, did he get it right?
No.
No.
No, he didn't.
I just pulled my headphones out.
Y'all got headphone issues.
We have big headphone issues. Everyone, I'm looking for the behind the ear kind that kind of clip on. These are cute, but they're not meant for
I know what it
every
means.
day. Did you look?
No,
Allison,
no,
did
I
you
did
look
not.
at that?
I did not. I actually didn't. It just came to me.
Okay, what does it mean?
It means dull and boring and robotic.
Okay, are y'all ready for me to tell you what it means?
Yes.
It's a formal word that describes something cryptically said or written in few words. The painter is notorious for offering terse, gnomic responses to questions about her work that leave interviewers and critics scratching their heads.
So basically, I was right. No, I'm just kidding.
Basically, it's what I need to be more of.
Cryptic?
I just need to zip my mouth a little bit sometimes. Like I need to just, yeah. Allison could be a little more gnomic.
I think
No?
we like you just the way you are. But there are times where perhaps could all be more gnomic, because here's the flip side of gnomic. It's not the flip side, but here's another addition to gnomic. It's a short phrase that expresses a true or wise idea. So sometimes you can be. So there's the terse responses that you're like, what? Like, for example, sometimes James Lindsay can be gnomic. He can give a short answer, but that short answer also expressed something that was true or wise. Could be.
He does have a hard time giving short answers, though.
He does. But I'm just saying sometimes.
Yeah, you're right.
Most of the time, we know that James is eloquent. He can get words out, but sometimes he can just put it out there and you're like, wait, what?
And it's that stoic face that goes with the gnomic.
And then you go back
words.
and you go, oh, that was really good.
Yeah.
By the way, Ian from Hartsville's guess was acting like a gnome.
Hey, it's
That's
actually
right. That's right.
kind of.
So,
By the way,
gnomic.
Ian, your hat's on the way.
Whoop, whoop. Okay. All right. Check.
Okay.
Checkity, check
I
yourself.
like gnomic. That was a
Gnomic.
good word. I like words that have letters that mean nothing attached to them,
Yeah, exactly.
like knife. Yeah. What's the
like,
point?
what
gnomic?
did they put that there for?
Stupid G.
Gnomic? What? Okay, what you got there, JP?
Okay, we may have done this one before,
Okay.
but regardless,
Maybe that gives me a chance.
I think it's time for a refresher. The perceived mental decline or exhaustion caused by consuming excessive amounts of low quality, trivial, or nonsensical online content. It also describes the absurd internet memes and slang itself that populate social media feeds.
Is the word rot associated
Part
with
of it,
this?
yes.
Brain rot?
Yes.
Nice.
I got one. Woo!
I think we all have brain rot.
I
Yes.
definitely have brain rot.
Brain what? All right, y'all ready for today's montage?
Yes, sir. All right.
Live news.
Will win. Grace will win. Humility will win. And kindness will win. I stand by them. I will always stand by them. Everybody else can go to hell.
With about 40% of the vote in, the Associated Press saying that Darlene Graham, the incumbent senator here in South Carolina, will advance to a runoff, which will be held 2 weeks from now. After all, this is a primary that nobody saw coming up.
This was a big one for President Trump during the re-election campaign. Now with the power of the pen, he explains via Truth Social, we are not going to pay for our innocent children to undergo these barbaric surgeries and practices, which result in unthinkable and irreversible harm to their young bodies. Between 2016 and 2020, there were 3,678 gender-affirming surgeries performed on U.S. minors. We don't know what percentage of those were paid for by Medicaid, but moving forward, that number will be 0.
Another elementary school got shot up this week. This time, it was a Christian private school in Tennessee where a shooter killed 3 adults and 3 children. Look, y'all, I'm Muslim. I know what happens when people essentialize everyone with a particular identity based on the actions of one individual who happens to identify that way. And that's a dangerous brew.
However, this beauty is probably turning into one of the most heartbreaking stories I've ever heard. Because I'm actually here on Mr. Fenn Church's farm. Here's Mr. Fenn with me right over here. He's become a good friend. And
glad to have Jason here.
So they're going to build, you won't believe this, but right through the middle of this gorgeous property, they are going to slam a power line with a 90-degree on it for no reason, when there's a spare 220 feet further on. There's literally a easement as well as a place for a power line that's already been cleared, but they don't want to use that.
Jason doing the Lord's work.
All right. Well, why don't we just start right there in the middle of the fire and preview what's going on with Fenn Church's land, which is probably less than 20 minutes from where we are. And first of all, when was the first time you guys heard about this story? And is it a surprise that this is happening? This eminent domain issue for a power line when there are other options?
John Rich posted about it, and that's how I saw it, and it started picking up traction. And I hope we can play the full clip of Mr. Church talking and explaining kind of the backstory of his property. He's in Calera, which actually, I don't know if Kenneth is still watching. That might be Kenneth Pascal's district.
Ooh.
Maybe Russell Bedsole. I don't know. I need to reach out to both of them. But this is just wrong. And I don't know if there's a miscommunication. I don't know. It's based off a bill. What they're saying is that there was a bill passed, I think it's HB 400, that was sponsored by Randall Shedd, who's still in the legislature. And my understanding of a few people, legislators that I've talked to, this bill was meant for like broadband access. That was back when we were taking broadband to all the rural places and the government was going to pay for it, which I totally disagree with. But anyway, another discussion. And I need to go back and read the bill, but I think they are taking that bill, and sometimes there are loopholes that are left open, and maybe this is an unintended consequence of that. I do not understand why Alabama Power, number one, I don't think they've given a response to Mr. Church. And maybe they aren't aware of what an issue this is. Mr. Church has come up with an option down an easement, a road that's already there, but they don't seem to want to negotiate on this. And I don't get it. And I think when y'all watch Mr. Church's video and him explaining it a little bit, y'all will go, this is just wrong. This is un-American. Our property rights are the most sacred thing that I thought as Americans. That's what defined Americans as we settled this country and the colonies and spread across the frontier. You were a landowner. That gave you all your rights. And now big company, whatever, the big mules are just going to come in and take your property. What it would do is allow these like 20 different companies to use this road that goes straight down the middle of his property. Play his clip. And
Okay.
this is the first that I saw of it.
It's 6 minutes. I don't know if I'm gonna play it in
Oh,
its
just
entirety.
just play the beginning. It's like the beginning minute and a half of him explaining. And then he kind of walks you through the property, but just the first part.
Good morning. My name is Finn Church, and I'm in my home residence in Calera, Alabama, and I'm bringing an issue to everyone about eminent domain and how it's affected me. I'm originally from South Alabama, grew up in Dothan, and grew up loving the outdoors, used to hunt and fish with my grandfather down in Geneva County, Alabama. And I moved to Birmingham 25 years ago and started my whole career's been in the transportation industry. And I started my trucking business 26 years ago. And I worked 2 jobs. I also ran a handicapped and elderly bus service that had about 60 employees. And my trucking company now has 81 employees. And I did both jobs for 18 years to save up, because one day I dreamed about having land and property and a place that I could enjoy. I just turned 60 years old back in May, and I'm officially in the 4th quarter of my life right now. And all I want to do is just come home every night. I'm still working, I'm still running my trucking business. All I want to do is come home every night and be in the privacy of my own home. And I'm building a dream house on this property right now. Been constructing it for 2 years, and it's about 2 months from being complete. And I just look forward to the remaining years of my life and being in private. Well, Alabama Power Company has changed that. They want an easement for a 230 kV transmission line on the back side of my property. But worse than that, they want all my road systems as their easements, permanent easement. And in 2019, the Alabama legislature passed a bill called the Telecommunications and Broadband Act, which gave the power companies authority to take over private easements and establish their own easements where they can sell the rights to any telecommunications company out there. And so that could be a dozen or more companies. And this is my private residence. And if they get all the easements, they've already condemned my property. If they start using their easements, I'll have a dozen companies coming down my driveway. And I'm just trying to, I feel un-American. I feel like this, I don't even, I believe in the political process, and I don't believe anymore. I may never vote again because of this process. I have a lot of elected officials that are friends in Montgomery and in Washington, and no one has reached out to help me. The only elected official that has reached out to check on me is my current state senator, Lance Bell. And Lance has tried to help me get the power company to move their line 200 yards onto 2 timber companies' properties and off my private residence and my neighbor, Dale Callahan's residence.
You can stop it there.
Okay, so what we're basically boiling this down to is the loophole that you said, turning what he worked his whole life to earn. They can come along and steal it. Am I understanding that right down to its essence? Is that accurate? I mean, I'm sure if they condemned it, did they even try to pay him for that?
Yeah.
But even so, our legislature wrote and passed a bad bill with loopholes that they're exploiting against the common man. It's theft. You can dress it up. You can add sprinkles on top. You can say lots of sweet, kind things. Why has no one reached out to help him beyond Lance Bell? Why wouldn't you own this? Because this is a mistake. If you make a mistake, we're thinking the best of you, assuming that this is just a mistake. You didn't mean it. You'd really like to move it 200 yards over onto another company's property, not a private citizen's property. So we're going to choose to think the best that that's just what this is right now. And nobody's reached out to help him? Really? So you guys are good with Alabama Power stealing this man's property. We had an easement issue in our house in Bluff Park, and the schools kept it for themselves, and we had to buy it back from the county because they were going to use the back of our property for a bus turnaround. We had to go fight them to get it. So that was a minor issue that we were able to have resolved. But you still had to fight. And you thought, are you seriously going to just like take down the fence that we put up on land we bought so that you can have like a bus turnaround? And there may have been one kid on the street? This is massive. So John Locke, way back when, said property rights exist because people think, plan, and act as individuals. Strip property, and you strip the institutional foundation of peaceful cooperation. Please, for the love of all that's good and holy, move the lines. Don't condemn and steal this man's property. Don't do it.
If you can't have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, then what is even the point of America at that point, to be honest with you? And I don't know. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt that this is a miscommunication, but if it is, it's a bad one at that. So I hope it gets fixed quickly. But that is a cornerstone of what has made America what it is: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness on your private property. So again, if there's a legal loophole that's being exposed here, I would hope that it's a miscommunication. But we'll just have to see how this plays out. But that is just, in my opinion, an infringement on a cornerstone issue of what makes America America. And part of the part that's heartbreaking is he said, I don't even want to vote after this. I've given up on the political process. Like, what's the point? That is, that's just very sad to hear.
I feel I should have read the bill, but there are two options here. Either the legislature passed, and Randall Shedd, from what I know, he's a conservative. I don't think he would have intentionally written a bill that allowed this, but there's a possibility that this is what the legislature meant to do. And Alabama Power is doing what the law allows them to do. If that's the case, we need to reverse course really fast, because this is just wrong.
Yeah.
And especially, I get easements. I get, okay, we need to widen Highway 119. Fine. That's like you're going 2 feet on this side, 2 feet on this side, into sometimes that's what has to be done. So I understand it. But when you have options, and there's an option, there's a road that's already carved.
Right.
There is an easement that's already there. But you are saying, no, I want this, and I'm going to disrupt this man. I mean, I think it gets you too, because you're like, that's my grandfather.
Yep.
Who just has fought for the American dream. He finally has his land. Jason went and walked around. It's a beautiful piece of property in Shelby County. This is happening in Shelby County. That is just like, Shelby County, what are we doing? Somebody just texted me, and it is Russell Bedsall's district. So we probably need to he may not even know that this is going on.
I hope that they don't know. I hope that this is a massive mistake. But unless it's rectified quickly, then we'll know it wasn't a mistake.
Yeah.
Like you said. So please, we want to give you the benefit of the doubt. And right now we choose to do so until we can't. This idea that you can just come in and get what you want because you're bigger than the other guy, it's how you treat the person who can do nothing for you. That's what tells us who you are as a company. And if you choose to crush a man who can do nothing back to you, we have all the information we need to know.
And I don't know the specifics again about why the bill was intended to be applied, but at the very least, it should be applied in a case-by-case scenario, as if, like you said, this one where there's an option right next to. So you can choose to do that or invade on somebody who's just trying to, live their life. And so again, I don't know the implications about the bill itself and how it was meant to be used, but at the very least, it should be on a case by case scenario of like, there's such an easy option just right there, So I don't know. I would hope that it's just flown other people under the radar, which I don't know how it has, because if John Rich is retweeting it and Jason Bartlett is going there, I would think it's not gone under the radar. But again, I don't know. I'll hold out hope that it has until
that's right.
They show otherwise. But
John Rich is doing media hits in the Birmingham, Alabama market today, actually, about this. And I don't think it's going away. And I think the most disheartening part for me is that it doesn't seem like Alabama Power, like, just have a conversation about it. It's funny. My hey, your Alabama Power bill is due just popped up.
Listening.
The power company has to be able to provide power. They have a right to make money. They have a right to put these power lines in. I mean, Alabama Power is great. When trees fall and your power goes out, they are the best.
They are awesome.
And so I get it. They have to function as a organization and a company and make money and do their job as well. But when you won't even come to the table to have a conversation, that's when I go, like, what are you hiding? Is this a bullying thing? Is this just we really don't want to even hear what he has to say? But we need to get back to humanity. It's like you said, it's how you treat the people that have nothing to offer you. Pay attention to how people treat servers in restaurants. That will tell you their character every time. The janitor, the flight attendant, that tells you who people are. And so while we get you, Alabama Power, we get what you have to do and you have a job to do and you do it really well, don't forget that we're just citizens trying to live our lives. I think there's a solution here. It's just we can't even get to the table to talk about it. And that's the part that I think bothers me.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know we got to go to a break. Mr. Finn Church will be in studio tomorrow at 10:30 to talk about this, give us an update. Maybe Alabama Power calls him today and they're like, hey, we got you.
Wouldn't that be great?
moving.
You know what? I was watching The Right Side with Allison and Beth, and I had no idea.
Yep.
Look, we're going to, like we've said for this entire conversation, we expect the best. We're hoping for the best. We're giving the benefit of the doubt. Please do the same to Finn Church and move this 200 yards away on something that's already established. We know it's going to take you time and money to do that because we know you've already got your route planned. But this man had his whole life planned. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt too.
When we come back, I'll be gone. I'm going to go move boxes with my college daughter. Y'all have fun. But the Right Side will be right back.
That is 5,222 miscarriages. Heart attacks, 22,549. Myocarditis, pericarditis, 29,000. Do you know how many people were permanently disabled? Nearly 75,000 people. And that's just an updated list. 5,222 babies dead because their mothers listened to their doctors and they trusted them and they trashed that trust. And then you have the absolute, let me get it together. Bill Cassidy, vaccines are safe. You should listen to us. They are always safe. You are a dumb ass. And no one should ever listen to you again. We have proof that they're not always safe because when you use the word always, it covers all the things. Clearly, sir, they're not always safe. Go home and shut up. Sit down. And the rest of you who can't look at evidence, who can't look at actual science, because the actual science begs you to dig in and look at the numbers and figure it out and come to a logical, sound conclusion, not one that compels you to do things that kill your children. And so for those of you that are upset that now the Trump has taken the next step of changing the childhood vaccine schedule, and we'll get there, and you're still whining that vaccines are safe, trust your physician. Are you kidding me? How many times do we have to tell you how guilty we feel over the vaccines we gave our kids, or the fevers that they spiked because they got 6 vaccines in one visit and they have these tiny bodies? I printed out, Allison Sinclair, just for our delight, what's in the vaccines these days.
This is gonna.
So we're going to go there because we have been lied to. And for those of you that knew immediately, fabulous. Those of you who took some time to figure it out, also fabulous. But this isn't going to be the last time they try it, because you know who's in charge of all this, whether it's the COVID vaccine or vaccines in general. Do you know who are besties and who have made billions off of this? Bill Gates and Anthony Fauci. The COVID situation has been planned since the mid-2015s. The billions they've made off of our struggle and suffering is because in both of them is this belief. Bill Gates' family gives heavily to population control and to family planning services. And if you listen to his words, the Malthusian belief that there's too many people on the earth and we're not going to have enough resources, a theory that's been debunked for years, but they cling to it because it gives them power over us. And the question is, how much longer will we give them our power? What will it take for us to get Anthony Fauci, Deborah Birx, and the other not very wise people to be put in prison and never let out again? What's it going to take? This is our health we're talking about. This is our personal sovereignty we're talking about. What's it going to take?
I mean, I don't know if you're actually asking.
I am.
I don't think it will ever happen. It's too deep. It's too interwoven. It's too thick. It's too murky. It leads back to some people who actually may not have known what they know. I don't know if they were on that text thread, but it would incriminate them as well. And so they're going to protect themselves. Meanwhile, we'll expose it. We'll have Senate hearings and House hearings, and we'll hold people in contempt, and we'll talk about it so we can get credit for trying. But it's not going to happen. But it is so hard for me to sit through these discussions. And I've said this before, but 20 years ago, had a friend, and she was like she was crazy right winger before it was the thing. Maybe before the Tea Party. It was, and she has been talking about this vaccines. Our kids our oldest are the same age. And so we're going through vaccine schedules and taking our kids to the doctor. And she was just screaming from the rooftops, don't do. And we all looked at her like, you have a horn growing out of your head. What are you talking about? And the guilt and shame I have for not protecting oh gosh, it's actually might make me cry. Not protecting my kids like I should have is actually overwhelming. In one of them in particular, I can look back and notice a difference.
Hello and welcome back. I am Amy Beth Shaver. Allison Sinclair left to do mom issues. She's doing it today. I'm doing it tomorrow. It's what we do because our kids are going back to school.
What a great mom you are that you're doing that on your birthday.
JP, it's because it's a gift to be with my kids on my birthday.
That's the right answer.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I even get to see my sister-in-law, who's one of my best friends. She's moving her daughter in right around the corner. And I get to see my nephew too. Like, it is going to be a great day, even though I'm going to sweat.
Yeah, but sure.
JP, I've decided I'm going to reward myself with a cupcake. I feel like that's okay. Is that okay?
On your birthday? Yes.
So we'll do all the moving in things, and then we have pledges coming to help. So God bless guys from the farmhouse who are coming to help me because Chris Shaver has to work and Will has to finish schoolwork. So there is no one available except down there are in my immediate family. So I'm very excited that I get to see Molly tomorrow. And I know Allison. It's not fun because there's this joy, and every parent of a college student knows this. When they come home at the beginning of May and your house is crowded with boxes and laundry and bags everywhere, completely interrupting your empty nest paradise, dare I say it? Because it is fun when you've made it all the way through parenting. But then when they come back home, you're like, oh, their stuff's here. And now after tomorrow, I'm going to have to walk into an empty house again. So I'll be verklempt, on Friday. I'm not sure if we'll be done by Friday. My daughter has a lot of stuff. If I'm done, I'll be here. If I'm not done, I won't. But I'll be verklempt.
You take the rest of the week.
I'll be verklempt. But I am going to have a cupcake tomorrow. And I may even get my nails done, which is hard for me to sit still. But I figured that's kind of a nice birthday thing.
I mean, your 30th birthday, you need a cupcake.
This is why we're going to be able to work together forever, JP.
What?
Thanks. I'm old. It's fine. I'm good with being old.
31?
I'm 31.
Okay, good.
You guessed it. I'm 31. So, by the way, I know we're talking about serious stuff, but if you're on the text line, what's your favorite flavor of birthday cake? Like, I want to know. I need to know what your favorite flavor of birthday cake is. Or are you a cookie cake person? Like, this is very important. I know we're discussing world events, but I need to know. Okay, one thing before we move on to the montage, wanted to correct this. Finn Church is not in Russell Bedsoul's district. He's in Corey Ellis's district. So thank you for one of our other state representatives for correcting that. We appreciate it. But we will keep you posted. Maybe there's not going to need to be a deep dive interview with Finn Church because Alabama Power continued to do what they wanted to do. Maybe the interview is going to be based on, hey, they chose to do the right thing. That's pretty hopeful. That'd be a great birthday present.
Yeah.
Anywho, all right. Up first on the montage. We don't know if you pay as much attention to the WNBA, but now we all are because we've had Enes Kanter and we've had Royce White declare for the draft. But we're also watching because Stephanie White, the woman who happens to have two of the very best players ever in Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark, go off on a rant. Did you see the rant in real time, JP?
No, I didn't. I saw it when you sent it to me for the montage, actually.
And the reason, as you know, we send it is because Chris Shaver is a huge Caitlin Clark fan. Maybe you are too. She can play ball. Okay. But I thought it was interesting because the rant had to do with the foul not called on Sophie Cunningham.
Mm-hmm.
And of the player, is it Dejanay? Is that like, never mind. Dejanay. And Stephanie White went to check on Dejanay. And she stood up for her, not for her own player. Now, the result today is also this. Cunningham and Clark have come out in support of their coach, which I think that's interesting. And I want to know your thoughts about that, JP. I want to know your thoughts on Stephanie White's rant. And I'd love to know your thoughts on what would compel Cunningham and Clark to stand up for their coach. Is it because they want to keep playing? Is it because of team unity? Like, what is it because, like, why?
Well, first, I want to play the 30-second part of the coach's rant where she stormed off the stage. But the best part about this whole, or maybe the worst part about the whole situation with Dejanay Carrington fouling Sophie Cunningham, getting a flagrant, getting tossed from the game, is she immediately went to the locker room and put out on threads, quote, white privilege, claiming it was white privilege that she got tossed for pretty much assaulting.
Okay.
I mean, if you watch the video, she didn't even try to go for the ball. She just flat out clotheslined Sophie Cunningham. But here's a little bit of the Indiana Fever coach's rant where she stormed off talking about this.
Grace will win, humility will win, and kindness will win. I stand by them. I will always stand by them. Everybody else can go to hell.
Classy, sassy.
Here's the thing. I understand Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark backing their coach, because as a person who grew up playing sports my whole life, like I get it. The team unity, you're gonna always have your coaches back. That's just something that you're always gonna do in their position. From the coach's position, though, and I get it, not wanting to, because if you're an athlete, it's like what we call for athletes to do whenever they were promoting woke ideologies, like just stick to the sports, keep the politics out of it. And I actually would argue Sophie Cunningham didn't bring politics into sports. She simply made a common sense stance. She didn't go out and specifically mention legislation. She didn't, protest, take a knee during the anthem to protest men being in women's sports. She simply mentioned in passing in an article or a profile about her that she thinks it's important to protect little girls from men playing in their sports. And that was it. Okay. So the rest is all the people assuming what she meant by that. Like Megan Rapinoe, who said that Sophie Cunningham supports Project 25 and Project 2026 and the Heritage Foundation because she took a picture with Riley Gaines before one of the games. And Riley Gaines, who, like, they're doing mental gymnastics to paint Sophie Cunningham as something that she didn't say she was. She just simply supported, she simply made a common sense statement. So I understand not wanting to bring politics into sports. That's not what Sophie Cunningham did. But if you're a coach and your player got clotheslined like that, you got to have your players back. And and it's maybe misogynistic to say, but women tend to be more agreeable than men. And I think this may be a situation where the coach is wanting to, obviously not for the most part. Abs is definitely not in that category, but for the most part,
I wish I were.
Yeah. But for the most part, that's how it is. And I think that this is her just not wanting to cause conflict. And she chose the safe route over standing up for her players, and in a very angrily manner. So I'm not as I don't put the blame on Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham supporting their coach. I put the blame on the coach of, hey, it's not bringing politics into it to say to just stand by your player.
Yeah.
But I think she got so scared that if she stood by Sophie Cunningham, she'd be painted as a white supremacist, Project 2025, homophobic, transphobic, all the phobics, and she cowered and didn't back her player.
And I don't know if this has anything to do with anything. I'm bringing it into it because it's relevant to what Sophie Cunningham said. But Stephanie White is a lesbian, and she's married to, I think, one of the either other coaches or female commentators. And so I wonder if, because Sophie Cunningham said what she said, that she felt threatened and attacked because she pictures herself in that LGBTQI community.
There you go. I'm glad we can pronounce it correctly now.
I mean, look, I took a whole day learning how to say that. And if you don't know what we're talking about, it may end up in the montage on Friday. You need to see it. But maybe Stephanie White felt threatened, but she shouldn't have, because we've got to stop bringing politics into all the things. We live in a political world. But like you said, JP, the Sophie Cunningham statement was about common sense. And so I think because of cowardice and because of Stephanie White being afraid of being labeled something that she doesn't even want to be, seen as, which is, in my word, thoughtful and considerate, that she didn't stand up for Sophie Cunningham, who was clearly clotheslined, so would she have stood up for her if Sophie Cunningham would have had a severe back injury as a result of being clotheslined? Is that what it takes for her to go, I've got Sophie's back? Like, you can even say things like, while I disagree with what Sophie said, I am for her. But in the moment, she didn't do that, because she lumped what Sophie Cunningham said in with the being clotheslined, and then she left her players out to dry, ironically using clothesline images. But it's sad that it had to happen at all, because those girls had their coaches back, and I don't think that was deserved. I just don't think that was deserved. You don't get to cuss people out, get up and storm off like you're in 7th grade. You've got to be better than that. So,
well, and you know what? That I may have given it the more generous outlook. Maybe the more realistic outlook is that the coach just flat out disagrees with Sophie Cunningham and is hostile to her.
I think that could be, but I do think she felt threatened because of what Sophie Cunningham said. What was it, last week?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, then the foul happened. And so what do we see? We see Stephanie White going out for the opposite team member who probably does believe like she does, versus the two girls, well, specifically Sophie. And she just, y'all saw, basically what Stephanie White said is, y'all saw a big family fight. We're fine. That's what she was trying to say. But we all know, because we saw it. We heard the statement, we saw the clotheslining, and we heard Stephanie White not stand up for her players until she absolutely have to. And then she did it in complete fury.
Mm-hmm.
So I did see, and I heard rumors that she may get fired. Have you seen anything about that?
I believe the Indiana lieutenant governor called for her to be fired. Did he not?
I thought, okay, I'm glad to hear you say that, because that's what I thought I saw. Then I thought I saw that she had been fired, except she won big last night. Could y'all just play basketball? And could you just let players say what they want to say without being threatened by any of it? Can you be the adults in the room? Is that too much to ask?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
That's fair. And I don't know, it's a very different situation because, again, I grew up playing men's sports, and it wasn't public like the WNBA is. But I mean, during the week and in practices, I mean, there'd be fist fights in practices. There'd be, scrums in practices. There'd be arguments in locker rooms. There'd be arguments during halftime in locker rooms. Two of my coaches almost got in a fist fight at halftime before they're going into the locker room. Like, that is because we're like brothers and we compete and we want to win. But when push comes to shove and we're on the field and we're on it as a team, like, we all have each other's back to the bitter end.
Mm-hmm.
And if we ever were in a situation, I mean, we didn't have press conferences, but we'd always we would have had each other's back publicly, because we're a team. What happens behind closed doors is us being a family behind closed doors, but we always got each other's back publicly. Mm-hmm. And I don't think, if the dynamic with it being women's sports is different, or maybe the political aspect makes it different. I don't know, but I did not get the vibe from the answer there from the coach that she supports her player like I feel like it should in a team sport.
Agreed.
And again, whether it's politics, whether it's sensitivity, whether it was cowardice, whether it was all of the above, I don't know. But that, I think, like you said, Sophie and Caitlin did what their coach should have done, of just, and she didn't even have to give an answer. If she disagreed with Sophie and didn't like Sophie and what she said, at the very least, she maybe just stayed out of it, of like, I'm not going to comment. What happened. Mm-hmm. But she chose to do that,
And you're right. She didn't even have to say anything. Saying nothing would have been better than what she did, because we've seen her actions. And that's a situation with too many on the high elite political level, Democrats, Republicans, but mainly right now it happens to be Democrats. What you saw, you haven't seen. And Stephanie White was just playing into more of that. Like, you didn't, no. There's nothing to see here. No, we've watched you mishandle Caitlin Clark until a couple of weeks ago as far as a player, because you're trying to put somebody else in her place, and then she couldn't. And then you see this with Sophie Cunningham, and then something else with Sophie Cunningham again, and then you come out and do this and act a fool at a press conference. So when in doubt, zip it. Better to open your mouth and prove yourself to be a fool, or close your mouth. Never mind. Just close your mouth.
Yeah.
Close your mouth, Stephanie. Stop.
Well,
that's all.
We got some comments and texts if we want to get to those.
Oh, let's
do. Segment ends. By the way, first you asked favorite cake.
Yes.
From people. Ian from Hartsel said either birthday cake flavored or German chocolate cake.
Oh.
Said his wife makes the best.
Okay. Now, German chocolate cakes, and I don't even like coconut, but Ian from Hartsel, they are delicious. But birthday cake flavor all day long. Yeah.
Carl Crocker on the Facebook, he said, quote, the Lane cake.
Okay. So nuts, coconut, right? Also a delicious cake. But secretly, I am a straight up white cake. But my new favorite cake in the world, y'all have to try them. They should probably sponsor us. And in my dream world, they will. Is Daughters Baking in Mountain Brook has a wedding cake flavor that is so good, it may make you want to cry.
Huh.
I hope that's what my husband has bought me for my birthday. I think it is.
Well, now he has, because you put him on the spot.
But I'm pretty sure he is, because he knows we both obsess over our birthday cake. It's that one time of year where you're like, I'm going to eat sweets guilt-free. And so I kind of already know he did. But if you want a good cake to try, no nuts, but lots of crumbs and delicious things. I don't know. Anywho, so keep telling us what your favorite cake flavors are in the midst of it all.
This may be a hot take.
Ooh, okay, let's take.
I hate cookie cake.
Even if it had like the icing in between?
I can't do it. And you think
JP?
I think I know why. Because we had cookie cake for any and every occasion possible growing up.
I'm sorry.
When I was a kid. And I can't do it anymore.
Listen,
but I think I'm the only one in my family that they still do it for pretty much. I think I'm the only birthday where I'm like, no cookie cake. Because all my brothers and sister and they all still do cookie cake. I'm like,
wait. I need some terms defined. Do you guys do like a double doozy cookie cake, or you just do a straight cookie cake with icing to the edges?
Just icing to the edges, icing in the middle.
Okay.
I can't do it.
My son loves cookie cake, but he also loves cheesecake. And now he's put us onto this new kind of cake. I am a straight up, please give me birthday cake.
Yeah, I like birthday
on my
cake.
birthday. Chris likes chocolate. I like white cake. Emmy likes yellow. Molly likes whatever the flavor she's into at that time. I'm trying to think through whatever all flavors. Wesley likes white cake, or she likes all cake.
The
Shavers love cake.
I like strawberry. I like white. I like what?
Strawberry.
Just
Chris,
no cookie cake.
Everybody loves strawberry cake in our family. That's a hot take too. Okay, interesting. You hate cookie cake. I'll never get you one.
Thank you.
But you have a wonderful girlfriend who is an incredible baker, and she's going to be unbelievably successful. Like, are y'all following Heavenly_Sweets? Because you should. Okay. Any other thoughts or comments?
Chris from Starrett said carrot cake.
Y'all are killing me with your cake flavors. I'm loving this. Do you like carrot cake with the cream cheese icing, or just like carrot cake like a loaf you could get at Starbucks? I bet he means cream cheese icing.
Probably.
I need details.
Two more real quick for the break. Carl Crocker again. He said the Sophie Cunningham WNBA situation may be bad, but hey, at least it's not as bad as those singers at the women's baseball game treating the national anthem like a three-way hostage negotiation. That was really bad.
Listen, were you playing it yesterday?
No, we haven't played it yet.
Is that going to make it into Clown World on Friday?
It will.
It was so bad. Oh, no. Chris and I listened to it because we're listening to a podcast on the way up. It was Steve Dace on the way up to the lake on Saturday. And I thought it was a joke. Like, I thought we were being punked.
One more comment here. Wanda on the YouTube talking about the Fever coach. She said White has no respect for her team, and it shows.
Amen, Wanda. Which I love the name Wanda. It's a cool name. It's a name nobody would ever forget. Okay, listen, when we come back, we are thrilled to be joined by my lifelong friend, Bobby Holditch from Phoenix Nutrition and Fitness. And he is rocking our world with his nutrition and his fitness. I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about the workout he's about to load into my app for the week. But we're going to talk about GLP-1s because I know people have questions and thoughts. So keep all your thoughts coming. And then after that, we'll conclude the montage and we'll get to Yammer at the end of the show today, because I think each of us have some pretty good stories to share with you. So don't go anywhere. We've got a 30-minute packed block for you right after this.
And it's heartbreaking. And as a parent, that's like your worst nightmare, to feel like there was something you could have done. And you can't live there. You can't stay there. That's not healthy. I get that. But for these people to actually go out and not the depths of evil and darkness and just irregard for human life, it will cut you when you as a parent would do anything to take that back, to protect your child just a little bit more. And it's hard. And these people are going to walk free and make millions at the expense of our kids.
Two of my kids, I'm responsible for things that they will deal with for the rest of their lives because of me, because I didn't actually say that insert on that vaccine package. It's got a lot of words. Have you read those words, doctor? And I didn't do it because I chickened out. I gained my footing, and I think we both did during the Gardasil phase, because it doesn't protect you from anything. Again, doesn't that sound familiar? Doesn't that sound like the COVID vaccine? But what I did and what I didn't do, I am very thankful for my oldest child who made me aware of all the things in vaccines. I had fellow members of the body of Christ, I'll say, challenge me during COVID and listing what vaccine fetal cells were in these doses. And they are. There are like HEK lines, 60s from 1966, aborted babies. There are many in the vaccines that we take today, many provably in there. But I didn't really dig in until my oldest child was confronted with the reality of being pressured to take a COVID vaccine, and then the reality of being pressured to give her children vaccines. And I want to run to Chris and I are the oldest. We're at the older end of the cousin spectrum in both of our families. And I want to run to the younger ones and say, what are you doing? What are you doing with your children? Why would you just offer them up? Stop. We now have information, and you can stop. And you sadly look, because we all remember asking about autism and knowing kids that were changed instantly. And we were mocked for asking, does that mercury in the autism, in the shots our kids, oh no, you're just being ridiculous. And the proof was always there. But I hope something will come of this COVID vaccine and of the reality that Anthony Fauci is, as we all know, a big, fat liar. He is the Joseph Mengele of our day.
Well, I'll give y'all some grace because, obviously you can make the argument that it's the parent's job to protect the child, but also we live in a society where, unfortunately, all the cards were against parents, y'all, to do what's right. And institutionally, it was set up to where maybe your kid couldn't participate in the same things as other kids. They didn't get the vaccines. Or I know with me, when I was graduating, my junior year of high school was when COVID happened. And so my senior year of high school and going into college was COVID. And you can't go to in-person classes if you don't take the vaccine, So institutionally, it was set up to where you could not. Obviously, again, you can make the argument that you could still stand firm, but all of the cards were against you. So it's not. I don't put the onus and the blame on parents. I put the onus and the blame on the evildoers in the society or in the institutions that. Like, they are the ones that did wrong. They are the ones that need to be held accountable, not the parents. Because, again, like I said, you could do your own research. But when the institution itself, when we live in the United States of America, where the system is supposed to be set up to where the doctors and the institution is doing what's best for the parents and the family. So if that is not the case and the institution is not doing that, and it actually is hostile to parents who do try to do what's best for their kids, well, When the system is set up like that, it's almost like you can't win. And the people who did that, like the Faucis and the others, those are the ones that did wrong, and those are the ones that need to be held accountable. So again, I mean, it's natural for the parents to think back, and hindsight's 2020, but the fault is not on the parents. The fault is on these evil men and these people who did evil. So
welcome back to the Right Side. I am Amy Beth Shaver. Allison Sinclair is momming it, which is basically our favorite thing to do outside of being here with y'all. But I'm Amy Beth and he's JP. We are so excited to be joined by one of my lifelong friends, like since we were 5. You've seen his podcast. A lot of you have responded to that, which he has an incredible story, right? But we're so excited to be joined by my friend and now yours, Bobby Holditch. Hello, Bobby.
excuse me.
Good afternoon, young lady. How are you?
Hello. Look at you, all official. Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Good
How
to see you.
doing?
Hey, I got somebody you need to meet. Check this out.
Let me see.
That's Charlie.
Who's that?
That's my sister's little puppy. She just had surgery about 2 months ago, and we kept him for a month. He's my little buddy. So I'm at my sister's house today doing this for you guys.
Okay. Well, you look very official. And that dog is Darling. Is that what kind of dog is that?
A rescue dog, but he's a Yorkie.
He's a Yorkie, but he's a rescue.
Okay.
She rescued him long time ago. But yeah, he's been a great joy for everybody that he comes in touch with. He's just a big baby.
You know what? I always wanted a Yorkie. And then I married Chris. And he didn't think
You
that
have big
dog
dogs.
fit. Someday I'm going to have a Yorkie. So I love
I think
that
now that we kept Charlie for almost a month when she had surgery, and I'm pretty sure my wife wants a Yorkie now.
Yeah, see.
Pretty sure. She misses Charlie as much or more than I do. So.
Yeah, see. So who knows? Like maybe your wife and I can go dog shopping together.
That sounds like a plan.
I mean,
sounds like a plan.
Chris never knows what I'm going to come home with these days. So who knows? All right, look.
I've been forbidden I can't foster dogs anymore because they don't go anywhere when they come to our house. They just stay. That's kind of the way we are.
Bobby, I have Molly's kitten, Obi, as in Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he's probably 12 weeks old. I still have to get him spayed. I'm not really sure he's actually going to make it to Auburn. Okay.
He probably won't.
And he's cute. Like he's just black and fluffy and darling. So anyway, all right, look, JP found a clip for you right off the jump, right from the jump. And we want to get your reaction to this. And then let's jump into talking about GLP-1s. I've got stats, but you're the man with the information, and we can't wait to pick your brain about it. But check this out and let us know what you think.
I thought I was overeating. I was standing there with all the food noise, what I ate, what I should eat, how many calories was that, how long is it going to take. I thought that was because of me and my fault. Yeah. Now I understand that if you carry the obesity gene, if that is what you have, that is what makes you overeat. You don't overeat and become obese. Right. Obesity causes you to overeat. Right. Obesity causes you to have all of that food noise. And what the GLP-1s have done for me, and I know a number of other people, is to quiet that noise. Yeah.
Okay. Bobby.
Yeah, I have seen that interview. That happened a few months ago when the real push for these drugs started really just hitting the airwaves a lot. And so I started digging because I have a lot of clients, as you know, and a lot of my clients are asking me, should I take a GLP-1? And most of them are, 10, 20 pounds they need to lose maybe just to get to where they feel comfortable. And what I kind of wanted to, and I've been battling this for quite some time on my own, and I just kind of thought maybe it would be helpful to come on and talk about it a little bit. Now, first and foremost, I am not a physician. Everybody knows I'm not a doctor. I'm not dispensing medical advice. All I'm going to tell you is what I know. And here's what I have researched and found is that a GLP-1 drug has its place in society and medicine, but typically the people that I will say need the GLP-1s are people who have severe obesity problems. metabolic issues, are pre-diabetic, have high A1C, because in those cases, a GLP-1 is going to be very helpful. It's going to take away your appetite so that you get rid of the food noise, as Oprah was saying. By the way, Oprah, I think last count, has lost and gained back about 3,000 pounds in the last 30 years. So it's one of those, I'm just being honest. So
no, it's true. Hey, let me ask you this real quick.
It's absolutely true.
Before we move into, because I like what you're saying, it makes sense, especially with people with high A1C. Is there such a thing as an obesity gene?
If there is, I haven't read a bunch of studies about it. I can tell you that what the GLP-1s do well is they reduce your appetite. I mean, they knock your appetite down to the point where you do not want to eat. Hence, we get into people who are trying to lose 10 pounds, they're exercising, they can't get it off. You and I both know, because of our experience, that that's because they're not eating the right foods in the right amounts. They're usually not eating enough. And now we're taking those people and they're eating even less. So it's no different if you're only taking the drug to lose weight. In my opinion, it is no different than any other crash fad diet you can do, where you eliminate as many calories as possible and you lose weight. But statistics show that you're going to lose about 30% muscle and 70% fat when you're on a GLP-1, because your body will eat the muscle. Okay.
Oh, wow.
When you're doing that, you're doing something that's counterproductive for long-term success, because you need to gain muscle in order to consistently lose and maintain fat loss. The more muscle your body has on the frame, the more calories you burn at rest, the more food you can eat, the more calories you're burning when even you're sleeping. So you tend to lose body fat instead of muscle. So it has its place in society. It has its place in medicine. But what I disagree with is people like Oprah and these people who 5 years ago were telling us that we were fat shaming them because they were just born this way and they couldn't control it. All of a sudden, now everybody needs to be on a drug to fix it. That's where I kind of draw the line. It has a medical purpose, but it's not a cure-all for weight loss by any stretch.
So that's so interesting and such a hot take, because no matter how they spin it, they're always the victim. You're fat shaming me. You don't need to do this. And now, oh, wait, but you do, because we have an obesity gene. And everyone, I'm married to a gastroenterologist. He takes care of your gut. There's not an obesity gene, as far as I know. I'm with you, Bobby. But there is a proclivity to eat too much. The Bible calls it gluttony, pure and simple. But what it is sometimes hard to do is to drop the 10 or 15 pounds. Try being a woman in menopause. That's hard because your hormones change.
Yes.
But the things that I've noticed, though,
100%.
with the GLP-1, people who take them, is exactly what you've described, is that they're losing weight and they're losing muscle. So they end up looking cachectic, like you can tell.
Like they're dying.
Because they didn't double up and while losing weight begin to work out as well. Are you seeing those things?
Yeah. Yes, I'm seeing people that are stuck, for lack of a better term. They the clients, I still call everybody a patient. I'm sorry, they're not. They're clients. Some of my clients are mildly overweight and they're taking a GLP-1. They're not eating enough food and they're exercising and their body's going into basically what amounts to a metabolic shock. So they can't expend anything because they don't have any energy, because they're not consuming enough calories. So they don't feel well. They're lethargic. They're tired because their body is starving to death on the inside. And then you'll see people that are on Ozempic or any of these other drugs. They come by a dozen different names now, that go on it for a long time and they end up with what we call Ozempic face. And in bodybuilding, they call it death face for a reason. It's where your cheeks get all sunken in and it's just, you look like you're turning into a skeleton because your body's starving to death. So, and I will say one thing, I'm not so sure. A lot of what I have encountered, and we've discussed this before, is that a lot of people don't have really a gluttony problem per se. They just don't know how to eat. They don't know what is healthy and what their body needs from a nutrient standpoint versus fast food, stuff we're buying in the grocery store by droves. As long as it has protein, it's good for you, all this kind of stuff that you're seeing now. There's a lot more to it than just that. But I will say that what breaks my heart is when people just don't know and they just can't seem to get their head around the fact that you cannot eat fast food twice a day and be healthy, because that's what they've always done. So that's where I kind of come in and try to I will say this. If you want to take a GLP-1, number one, there are 3 criteria that I think are very important. One, you go to your regular doctor, whether that be your gastroenterologist or your GP, whoever. You want someone to monitor your blood work, monitor your hormone levels, and keep you on track physically while you're on the GLP-1. Number two, if you have a medical issue that warrants it, 100%, whether that's high A1C, pre-diabetes, and you're overweight at the same time, it will kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Number 3, I believe you need to have a solid exit strategy. Okay, so a 3 to 6 month period on the drug to get a jump start, fantastic. But what's happening is these people, when they go off the drug, their appetite comes back. They have not changed any of the habits that got them in the position to start with. So it's kind of like stomach stapling or gastric bypass years and years ago, where people would, that I have a relative who had it done 40 years ago, maybe 50 at this, no, about 40. And she would have 3 ounces of food at a time, but her 3 ounces of food would be chocolate cake icing. And she gained it all back. And that's what happens. You're not changing that cause the problem to start with. But if you use it as a step stool to be able to work out or to be able to build those habits, I think it's probably an okay thing. But again, critically, in my opinion, do not call an 800 number. Don't call one of these places because number one, they know nothing about your history. They know very little about your current medications or medical history at all. And number two, you don't know what you're getting when you get the drug itself because some of those variants are made in Thailand or Cambodia or China. We don't know what the ingredients are. If you're going to do it, go through your physician, make sure you have an exit strategy and make sure it's at least warranted, but don't do it to lose 20 pounds because that's just asking for problems.
What you just described makes so much sense. And you're right. Let me go back and say you're absolutely right. Everybody in that category, I'm just using a biblical word of gluttony, we all overeat. That doesn't mean you're going to be somebody who needs to be on a GLP-1. But I love the strategy that you laid out because that makes the most sense. Because what I saw was what you said. It correlated with 70% of the people who take it will gain all their weight back. And then what have you done that for?
Right.
But
and
let's
not
talk
only
about
that,
something in the last few minutes here that you've helped Allison and I and our families with. And that is something, and this is why we love working with you, is showing us what to eat. Or late in the day, you telling me you need some more protein.
right.
It's transformed. I was with somebody last week who transformed my thinking in one area of my life. This has also transformed my thinking, but you're taking it to the next level. You're not just saying, let's get you strong. You're also saying we need to transform the way you eat and the way you think about food. So talk to us about diet for these last couple of minutes.
Well, as you well know, because we've been working together for 3 or 4 weeks now, I think you and Allison and I and her daughter has been working with us for maybe another week or 2 over that. And now I've got a couple more people that are doing it. But what we do is we do a 7-day evaluation of what you're eating on a regular basis. I tell my clients, do not cheat. I mean, I want you to cheat. I want you to eat what you normally eat. If you eat McDonald's 3 times a day, that is fine for this 7 days. I just need to know. I take that data and we come up with some trends. So I look for things that you like, things that you avoid, how much you eat, how many carbs, proteins, fats, different micronutrient deficiencies you may be not getting from your food, and we establish some trends. And then I build you a diet that is the food you like to eat with a healthier twist and more of the things that you need, like vegetables and things like that. People typically, and I think you would be a good example if I'm maybe so bold as to use you, when I did your analysis, you were eating about 800 calories a day. Was that pretty accurate? 850, I think is what it was.
Yes, but am I allowed to say that sometimes I forget to eat?
Yes, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay. But we pushed you to eat almost double that at this point.
Yes,
And
that's
you're
so much
eating
better.
between 13 and 1600, 12 and 1600 a day now, and you're getting a lot more nutrients, so you feel a whole lot better. The same thing can happen for anybody. My biggest thing is I don't want people to be hungry because when we're hungry, we make bad decisions. We do something stupid. We just do. I'm the same way. If I'm hungry on the road and I want something, I'm going to stop and get a Reese's whatever and enjoy, me with peanut butter and chocolate. But by the way, I think it's hilarious that you're about to have your diet coach on and the topic of conversation was what your favorite kind of cake was. That's
Yes.
guilt. But it's
Priorities,
like
man.
I was telling my sister, I was like, look, I don't shy them away from. Have you run into anything that in the last month that I've told you, no, you can't have that?
No,
Not once.
no,
Never
because
will.
here's the thing that's happened, and in just a second, well, finish up. Yes, no, not at all. You've said eat it, but it's so funny that when you're eating well, you don't necessarily want the things you used to want.
Right. And
So
when
that's
you
been
eat
great.
them, you
So you
feel
look
like
forward
dirt.
to the cake or the dark chocolate. By the way, at
Yes.
Sprouts, they have dark chocolate peanut butter cups again.
Oh, that's
I'm
my
gonna find
that's my
Nintendo.
biggest
Anyway,
weakness.
okay, listen. Tell me real quick, because as you're plugging in and you're teaching us how to eat, and I feel dramatically better, my energy's better. Where can people find you? Because they're listening and thinking, maybe I want to do this.
Absolutely. Well, you can reach me by phone anytime, 24 hours a day. If I'm asleep, I turn it off. My number is 256-224-8298. You can send me an email at phoenixfitala@gmail.com, or you can even just go to the website at phoenixfitnessnutrition.com. And we're available all 3 different places. I'm on Facebook. I'm on with you guys all the time. So anything I can do to help anybody, I'll be more than happy to do it. But it's kind of like a mission for me now to get as many people healthy and eating right as I can. And it's really a lot of fun to see people make great progress, feel better, be able to exercise, do more with their lives, especially as we get older. One more thing about GLP-1s.
Yes, sir.
The most difficult people that have the most trouble are women who are either premenopause, menopause, or postmenopause. Because when you're restricting your diet to the point that a GLP-1 will cause you to do, you tend to develop hormonal problems, which heaven knows when you're in that state of life, you don't need any more hormonal problems than you already have. So a lot of those people are experiencing a lot of different side effects that are just nasty and not pleasant long term. So the biggest fear I have is there was a couple of months ago, they were pushing, and I think they still are, to get GLP-1s approved for Medicaid, not Medicare, Medicaid. And if they get that done, it will go from being $1 billion a year drug to $1 trillion a year drug. So now you see where the push is coming from. It's money. It's all about money. It is easier for someone to take a shot or take a pill or whatever form you choose to take it in than to change. Change hurts. Change is rough. But when you go through that change and you start doing it the right way, like we teach people, it's long-term, it's sustainable, it's attainable, and you're not going to starve to death in the process. That's kind of my philosophy.
And it's a philosophy we can all get behind. I think there's nobody better to say that than you. Bobby Holditch with Phoenix Nutrition and Fitness, and one of my first friends I ever had starting at age 5.
Been going back a ways.
Hey, we go back a long ways. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
I'll see you. Okay, then. That was about the most balanced view of GLP-1s I've ever heard. And I know Chris shares his philosophy on that. But the idea that it might become a Medicaid drug and turn into $1 trillion business is, we need to look into that. Okay.
Indeed. And good to know that there's not a obesity gene.
Yeah. I mean, when she said it, I was like, Oprah, like, no. But I loved his hot take. That was such a good hot take. 10 years ago, you're body shaming. 5 years ago, you're body shaming, you're fat shaming. And now, oh, look, magic. Here's a drug. And I'm a victim. No, we're not. We make choices and we can't outrun the consequences of the choices we make. It's that simple. But there's hope and there's help. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, Bobby knows what he's talking about. I feel better. I am building muscle again. I have 2 granddaughters, and I hope I have like 1 million up. Well, not 1 million. That'd be awkward. 10, 15 grandkids by the time it's all done. And so one of the reasons Chris and I are convinced and committed to Bobby and Phoenix Nutrition and Fitness and Allison is that, or Allison and I, is that we have a lot of life left to live, and you can't do it if I'm a decrepit granny. I just can't. So that's what's motivating us. But I can tell you, he knows what he's talking about. So reach out if you want to. I would encourage you to at least give it a stab. But more than that, JP,
You want to do Yammer?
Let's do Yammer.
We got about 10 minutes. So
All
I think
right,
that's the
let me go
perfect
grab
time,
my story. What's your story,
to
good sir?
do
It's time for
Yammer. I got a story here from Yellowhammer. Yaffe wrote this story. Just more, if you want any more evidence that Doug Jones, God forbid, if he became, are we doing the same story?
you. Same brain. Go.
If you want any more evidence that, God forbid, Doug Jones becomes governor, he will undo all of the great conservative work we've done in this state. Here's another piece of evidence for you. Doug Jones wants to, quote, stop Choose Act in its tracks. Doug Jones, let's see, I think he was doing a Ask Doug Live on X. He said, quote, at a minimum, I want to stop the Choose Act in its tracks. Do not lift the caps, but also don't take any new kids. Don't open the cap next year and either phase it out or try to make some adjustments on it. I'm not a fan of it. For those who don't know, the Choose Act is the school choice bill that was passed. What was it? The session before last? Massive conservative win for parents in this state to be able to send their kids to actually good private schools if they choose to do so. But Doug Jones, of course, does not want that to happen. And all it does is you receive the tax dollars back, essentially, you pay into the public school system if you're not sending your kid into public school. It seems pretty common sense to me. But with all the legwork, all of the years of hard work to get the Choose Act done, he will undo all of that. God forbid, again, if he becomes governor, which I pray he does not. But
yeah,
well, in the current situation where Republicans aren't showing up to vote, at least in the primaries, and the Democrats are rallying behind Doug Jones and are gaining momentum in terms of their belief he's going to win, especially from that poll that came out that only had Tuberville up 8. It's important to remind everybody what Doug Jones intends to do, with his own words, by the way, if he becomes governor. And this is just a catastrophic thing that hopefully will not happen.
You know, it's funny. The people who generally call us the fascist are the ones who are forcing us to do what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And they are willfully in favor of stealing a parent's natural right to decisions in their own family's lives. You think about COVID, everybody did it. But here we're looking at the Choose Act, and we're looking at a parent's inherent God-given right to decide what to do with their children. And he is saying, no, this is not a thing. Like, you shouldn't have this right to choose where your children go to school. But I just find it ironic that generally it's the Democrats who want no one to choose but what an elite few decide should be done with your life.
Yeah.
So that's a hard pass for me. A hard pass.
Well, I apologize I took your story.
You didn't take it's hey,
But
same brains. You know, it was a great story. My story is from Sawyer Knowles, and it's this: the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, their DOJ case will move forward after a federal judge rejected the Montgomery-based nonprofit's attempt to dismiss an 11-count federal indictment as vindictive prosecution. Again,
how about that?
You're so good, JP. So, okay, let's pretend that what happened didn't happen, and then let's gaslight everybody and project, we didn't do that. This is just vindictive prosecution. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we have all of the evidence proving that you did. So, U.S. District Judge Emily Marks denied the SPLC's motion to dismiss the charges and a related request to conduct discovery into the Justice Department's motives for bringing the case. What are you talking about, motives for bringing the case? Who cares about a motive? The SPLC used donor money to do illegal things. It's very cut and dry. Why do we need to bring emotion into it and talk about motives? You did wrong. You got caught. You can outrun the consequences of your choices. Is that fair?
Yeah.
The SPLC says that the prosecution was politically motivated retaliation by the Trump administrations for the organization's speech and advocacy. Except the SPLC are the group that puts hundreds of conservatives on their hate speech list and tells people basically, this is who you should dislike. This is who you should target. And meanwhile, though, they're the ones who are the victims. Have y'all noticed a trend here? So, no thank you, hard pass, kudos to the federal judge rejecting that bid to dismiss the case. And a great story by Sawyer Knowles at Yellowhammer.
I haven't heard much from the SPLC lately. It's been pretty
It's been quiet. It's been real quiet. So, real quick JP, from the montage before we get to Would You Rather, very quickly would like to say thank you, President Trump.
Oh, yes.
For ending the gender mutilation surgeries under Medicare, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got the right
Medicaid,
form.
I think.
Medicaid. 3,678 children. Now, look, I can't call this gender affirming care. I don't know who made that word up. It's a communist word because they twist the word and they project on what they're doing. Gender affirming my butt. It's gender mutilation. And it's not happening anymore. So thank God for that.
Yeah. It should be nationally illegal, but at the very least, yeah, you're not using federal tax dollars to pay for that. That's insane.
No more. So I think that's fantastic. And then right along the same lines that even though you were telling me it was an older clip from Abdul al-Sayed talking about the trans shooter in Nashville and him blaming everything on what? Christians? For the trans shooter's actions.
He pretty much fixated on conservatives having an issue with the shooter being trans, and that it's the real danger in this situation is that they're going to demonize all trans people because the shooter was trans. And as a Muslim, I understand the dangers of that.
Okay. So again, the theme is we're going to pretend that what's happening isn't happening, and we're going to ask you not to see it, and then we're going to turn around and make ourselves the victim. That's basically the theme of the entire day. Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's cute.
I have no idea if he's going to win the actual election, the general, in November or not. But it seems like a theme with the Tallaricos and the others on top of the Democratic Socialists that are conservatives nationwide. Goal or objective number one is to just show everything that these people have said throughout their political careers and just plaster it everywhere. If we do that, then surely they'll lose in November because what these people have said. And maybe that helped Hong lose in her primary. But at the very least, what El Sayed and Tallarico, they just need to be plastered everywhere going up to November.
That's right. That's exactly right. And we can do our part by plastering that here. And we can also do our part by getting the candidates who won yesterday back on, especially in districts 6 and 7, to talk about the people that they are going to be running against, or they already are running against come November. Because we've got to get the word out about the stark differences between the Republicans and Democrats in our state. Yes, there's too often that we're uniparties, but in issues in Alabama, there are plenty of ways we're very different, and we need to make sure that we send Republicans to Washington, D.C., because we need all the help we can get. So congrats to all the winners yesterday, and we look forward to talking to you guys really soon. Okay, JP.
Would you rather be locked in a room that's overly bright for a week or a room that's totally dark for a week?
Oh, they say you go crazy if you're in solitary confinement. And at least if it's bright, you can close your eyes.
Yeah, I'd probably go overly bright.
I'm going to go overly bright.
If you're in the complete dark, then you start to hallucinate.
Yeah, no, thank you. I don't. I'm too old for that.
Would you rather have to, we just talked to Bobby, but would you rather have to hunt and gather all of your food or eat McDonald's for every meal?
Hunt and gather.
Yeah, but you could go hungry if you hunt and gather.
Oh, Okay, let's pretend that McDonald's is healthy.
Oh, yeah, let's pretend.
Let's pretend.
It's not fake
We'll
food.
call out other people for pretending, but today we pretend that McDonald's is good for you. All right, listen, tomorrow I will be moving Molly into her apartment, so I won't be here, but you'll be in the capable, wonderful hands of my partner in crime, Sinclair, and JP. So you guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I will look forward to seeing you next week. But tune in tomorrow because Finn Church will be in that chair right there talking about what's going on with his property in Shelby County, Alabama. Until then, make good choices and stay on the right side.